best of 4 for sure, Chronicler. I think they can do it. I think it's definitely viable. I mean, we've seen the gameplay today has backed it up. Gen.G have just been that much, a little bit more consistent. See if Hanwha in this potential last chance can bring it back.
I'm going to be a little selfish. I would like more games, personally. I think that would be cool.
I think you deserve it.
I'd like to go
honestly.
Oh, wait, I don't know about that. But
Yeah.
I'd like to go the distance, and at least, as you're saying, get us that extra game. Would also mean that my prediction is correct, which I feel like would be a fitting ending. And Hanwha Life shown they have the skill, it just hasn't come together because Gen.G, when it matters most, has been able to outperform them.
Yeah, it really just comes down to the little things. I loved how our desk pointed out Keen's little things that he did in that final fight to really isolate and kill Viper and make it possible. Because, you know, even though Ruler got the flashiest moments, it really does come down to everybody doing their job, and that's what Keen is known for.
Duro's turn is charm in that fight as well.
Yeah.
Every single player has a role to play, a part to play in these team fights. You know, Chovy getting the flash of Viper we mentioned earlier. These types of small moments stack up to big advantages. So once again, the Wukong will be taken away. Annie banned one more time for Hanwha, but they take away Keen's Renekton. Bit of a shift here in this third game. The Pantheon ban will remain.
No Galio ban this time.
Not this time.
Probably for the best, I would say. They used 2 of those against Chovy in games 1 and 2, where you generally don't see the Galio that early on in a Fearless draft. So going to ban away the Renekton instead, as the Renekton becomes more likely as we come along in games.
Also might mean that the Ambessa Prio is going to be high. That is one of the A-tier champions that is still up. So Lucian going to get taken away from Viper here. The bot lane matchup has been heavily prioritized. Gen.G saving a lot of counter picks to try and ensure that they have been able to find the matchup where they can generate that prio, allowing them to play for those objective setups.
A lot of discussion about this first pick. It might be your last. I mean, it will be your last of this series if Gen.G, even if you win, if Gen.G pick blue side for the remainder of the games. We'll see what that choice will be. It'll shape the draft.
Graves? Wait. Okay, Jarvan. I thought we were going to see some crazy kind of it's backs
the
against
time.
the wall. We gotta pull out
It's the
big
first time
guns.
it's left open.
I get it. We make Canyon watch, and he thinks it's top lane Graves, and it's 2021 all over again. Because that's what the Graves hover did to me. The Delight Alistar needs to be denied, and Duro's Alistar is amazing. We're getting deeper into the drafts. There's less and less tools available to deal with this. Does mean Sylas needs to be taken into consideration.
Absolutely, especially with Zeka on the playing field here. One of the best Sylases that we've ever had. The Galio is going to come through, which means the Sylas is even more likely to potentially get locked up here. Chovy is what, 16-0, 17-0 on this pick, by the way?
That's disrespect.
It's, I mean, it was banned for a reason.
Okay, but Galio has a lot of matchups that aren't very good for him, right? So this is really, I think, a very, very, depending on the result, confident or arrogant move here to just slam down that Galio.
The Sylas that you mentioned
Yeah.
is so obvious
What?
here, and it is just going to come through. And obviously Galio is a flex pick in some niche circumstances. I don't think this is going to be one of them, especially not now with the Ambessa locked in here for Zeus. And this composition has so much lockdown, no matter what Ruler's playing. He's not going to be feeling comfortable in this one.
Is it Camille?
The skill matchup in the top lane with Camille Galio.
Camille Galio?
It's tough though when you don't know what Viper's playing to commit to that just here, just now.
No, that's worse.
Well, you got three tanky boys if they do go for this, but 3 picks that are very good into the low range of Hanwha Life Esports so far. I mean, yes, obviously Ambessa's fantastic here, even blind with all the Fearless bans we have and the Sylas, which you guys pointed out, but now you got to play all these melee champs straight into Alistar, Galio, Cassante. So is it a bait at the end of the day?
I think the Xayah stocks are pretty high here for Ruler. Just simply because there's a lot to lock down. Sivir feels pretty unplayable here. Don't think they'll have to ban that this time around, as they did do that in games 1 and 2.
I agree with you, because obviously Sivir into Jarvan alone is really tough. Same for Xayah, honestly, because you can't actually get out of the ultimate. They might still bend them away just to deny Ruler hyper carries, right? Because that is the one thing you do look towards.
You have to have one as this competition.
Exactly. There is the chance that Chovy goes for the more aggressive build, but that isn't what he's done historically. He has always preferred the more bruiser slash, not just in Galio, but just in general, bruisery or just straight up tank builds. There is also Canyon's pick here, which is not known as, that's a little Kalista Renata not. I do think they're coming out.
I mean, if they go...
Okay, come on now. That's not a top side. There's no way we get away with even Gen.G.
I mean, that's like he's locks Ophelio, so they lose the game.
Lee Sin.
Lee Sin, an interesting
Ooh,
one.
locked in.
But I mean, it's into Silas as well, and I do worry about what Ruler is.
What is Ruler playing?
You know, just Ophelios.
I mean, it might be something like Ziggs as well.
If the Xayah gets locked in here, it's certainly a potential angle, but I don't know if the Ziggs damage alone is enough. It has a huge range advantage, but
I don't know if anything is enough to.
And if they take the Smolder here, that could have been another late game scaling option that has a big front line here that they're not going to have either. I actually really like the Smolder pick here for Hanwha Life, and Viper is arguably our best Smolder. I don't even know if it's arguable at this point. Insanely fast stacking.
So, does Ruler not just slam Kalista here?
You just go hyper all in.
Ruler. Oh, the Tristana. We've seen him play it before.
Well.
Would have an incredible amount of laning power. And Tristana, Alistar, that's a classic bouncy house combo.
Decades with
Is a
that
hyper
duo.
carry, actually has a lot of safety and range. I kind of love this.
Or it's just Ziggs.
It is.
Okay, it's just Ziggs. And we've loved Ziggs nowadays. I mean, we even saw it picked earlier on in some drafts, but
I don't love it that much here, though.
It's Ziggs solo damage. I don't know if it's enough.
No, guys, we're not falling for it. I fought this in game one. I'm like, oh, I don't know if they have enough. They'll have enough damage. It's Gen.G.
And it is Keen Sante. I mean, there's some damage there. It's Canyon Lee Sin. It's like ultimate comfort. Chovy's undefeated on Galio, right? I mean, Duro, Alistar. I mean, this composition has... I mean, they have such insane mastery of all of these champions. They have great range with the Ziggs into a mostly melee composition here for Hanwha Life. Outside of the Smolder that scales incredibly well, I just don't know if you get access to the Smolder when the Silas has Alistar ult.
Yeah, I don't think they have access to Smolder unless they're going to 100-0 him. They have a decent amount of CC, but if you just play Cleanse Smolder and keep your distance and scale, I think should be good. I'm kind of liking what Hanwha Life Esports have in this one. Or maybe it's a bit of a dislike for what Gen.G are missing.
My only issue with the Hanwha Life composition is that I think that they are putting Smolder in a position where it doesn't feel like he gets the most value. I actually think Smolder will struggle, even with Braum later in the game, because the rest of his team has to play so far forward to have any value, meaning that he might be susceptible. If Gen.G do fall behind, though, I think all our concerns about damage will be warranted, and Canyon needs to have a better performance than he did in Lee last time.
He needs to here as we hop into the Rift for game number 3.
Gen.G, 하나, 둘, 셋.
Fans have come out and forced big time. Keen being bullied up in the top lane. Might have to flash here. There it is.
And that's some stacks for Viper picked up early as well in this initial skirmish. So big win here. You mentioned the Lee Sin previous performance was against Cuz in that loss to KT Rolster. A rare Canyon Lee Sin loss. He's another one of those champions that has the mobility to potentially find that backline access onto the Smolder. It's only one stack Viper picks up in this initial fight. I thought he was able to get 2.
I'm just
And it's the Viper swap.
Yeah, we do see it. And look at this, Gen.G, the prep is there.
Oh, they know.
They actually have already preemptively swapped. You love to see it. To me, these early skirmishes are going to decide the game, because as good as I think the Hanwha Life scaling is, that top side is lethal, but you do actually need to be able to play against what I think is also a very dangerous top side. The setup for Lee is amazing in longer fights, as Gen.G, they read the play. We'll see if Keen really waits to show until the last second, as they already know the lanes are locked in, and that is the case.
This is so funny. Smolder versus Ziggs in the top lane here in 2025. If you just only look at this, you might be very confused. Obviously, we know it's because of double Viper swap, but like, it just looks so hilarious. 2 minutes into the game, we got this as the top lane.
It's very predictable that they would go for this. I think this is in part why Hanwha then thought even further ahead, went for that aggressive topside play to try to guarantee they can get this to happen. But still read by Gen.G as supportal combat. Do is watching
So much
on.
damage!
What are we doing here? What is happening?
Delight, you are in the enemy jungle.
It's okay. They have Prio from mid. A bit of extra damage on a Chovy. And so he's going to have to back away from that one, as now we're just going to have the full-on lane swap, which
Let's be
eventually
honest,
does happen.
both supports know they're not really going to have a huge impact in the Ambessa-Kazante lane. As Canyon 0-1, as mentioned, Chovy 13-0 on the Galio.
Human ingenuity truly knows no bounds. We will find a way to lane swap. It'll keep happening. We are not giving up on it. It's gonna... at this point...
Professionals want to avoid bad matchups. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's just the way it goes. And we have figured it out. Jarvan on a 5-game winning streak. As you're going to have TP coming in here early from Chovy, and the lane swap will complete. Chovy all-time 16
Okay, so I was still
wins
right.
in a row.
16, yeah. That's all, including all-time. This stat came up in the KT series. It was a tough game. He was able to win it there and maintain that perfect win rate. Never
wins,
lost.
guys. I got nothing more to add. That's insane. That's 16 games.
Yeah.
In internationals, in LCK.
He doesn't have any wins in Challenger League, though. That is the hardest league in the world, as we know.
Oh, I mean, everyone knows that. But like,
yeah.
I'm not...
So I'm a little bit worried.
Well, we can't always bring that up.
I just thought you were baiting that's Challenger's baby one last time.
One last
Maybe.
time.
We'll see what happens in this game. I feel like there were moments in last game, you know, when Ruler just died on the full equalizer. That could have been one.
No Mariah's group baby either. So
well, we don't have to remind me of that, okay? That's I've dealt with that.
we can
Fine.
just keep the memes alive. You know?
They will. Oh, don't you worry. Well, I say don't you worry. I'm kind of relying on you guys for that. But I'm not worried about you guys doing it.
No.
Yeah. We'll keep it alive.
This game is obviously going to, with the initial plays not leading to too much, kind of slow down here. Teleport advantage went to Zeka early because of the early trades he took. He keeps it. And this is really good for Hanwha Life Esports because the slower the game is and the inability for Ruler to punish really with the Ziggs in the 1v1, you're just kind of chilling, you know? You eliminated one target to stack on initially when you matched the Viper swap, and now that it's a 2v2 again, Viper's just back to business as usual here. We'll hit that first break point at 25 and then start to continue to scale. I cannot stress enough, Viper's speed of getting those stacks is actually insane. One of the most consistent smolders in the LCK is,
knocking the prominent turret range. Delight, he's like, oh no, not the mines! As first blood goes over to Ruler already. And that is so early on in the game. 5 minutes is, we got to see how that even happened. Delight now down both summoners as well.
It has to be a satchel setup, right?
It's gotta be, right?
There's otherwise no way.
Didn't even flash.
Yeah, I had no idea. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that. That is a really big unforced error. In the roll 2v2, just Duro and Ruler giving over an early kill to the Ziggs is always going to be a big deal, as it's probably a bouncy house combo.
Man.
Oh
no, it's even simpler than we thought.
No.
It's even simpler than we thought, and I don't even want to put it to words. You saw it visually there. Judgment error, you could say, by Delight. The veteran into Duro.
And if Duro had to invest Flash, I think he would feel a little bit less bad about that. But he didn't even use his subs.
They were just sitting there looking at him like, are you serious? I mean, it's Braum going into melee range of Alistair. Not to mention that the Ziggs is there. You're just going to get punished, and it's kind of
it's a bait!
It's a big bait here, as in goes Canyon and out goes Canyon.
Okay, I got baited.
It was 3v2, with just the Braum, but...
Cannon denied.
Yeah.
A little disappointed. I thought we were going to have a brawl. That would have been fun. It's fine. I'm sure it'll happen. Any second now, right?
Well, Duro is wrapping around here. Delight is down summoners. Not quite a ton of damage on this Ziggs just yet.
You know, one way you can deny Viper some big stacks is just poke him out of the game. If he can't lane against the Ziggs, if the Ziggs gets too powerful early on, then you don't really have to worry about the Smolder ever. If he just gets behind enough.
mean, if Ruler also was able to get bigger and larger and they play through him in mid and then he is able to get rid of the mid turret, for example, with Satchel, then you can really remove a lot of the safety of the Smolder. But I do think once you hit 125, like the stacks just kind of come no matter what. But slowing that down, as they have a little bit here in this early game, is certainly a big win for Gen.G.
Ruler hasn't really been able to hit a lot of those bouncing bombs though. We do see Duro using the phase rush nicely there to just go for these short trades, do a little bit of poke, but as long as Viper doesn't really go too low, he's not going to be too bothered in the lane. Does also still have TP advantage. There's 4 teleports on Hanwha, which I do feel warrants mentioning.
Yeah, Teleport will never not be the best summoner in the game.
Well, I think Flash is kind of giving it a run.
I guess, yeah.
But secondary summoner,
Flash
secondary
is number
summoner.
1.
You sillies. What about Smite?
Two.
Are we just ignoring junglers? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, well, there's only one of them, so, you know.
Well,
Yeah, how many smites in this game right now?
How many
Ronnie?
games do you think you're going to win if you don't have Smite, huh?
Count me the smites, Chronicler.
What about Spellbook?
You don't see Nunu all that often, do you? He's got smite in his kit.
Yeah, so does Cho'Gath, but that doesn't mean that you don't need Smite on your jungle. Look at this, you think he goes to this without Smite?
Anyways, back to the
I
gameplay.
think you are forced to have smite nowadays
Peanut?
anyway, so.
Peanut has his ult
That's
here.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of a skirmish. It's a 3-on-3 for now, but the Galio comes in a bit sooner.
Bomb.
As, okay, Mom does come down the turn immediately on the Viper, but he just flaps away as the follow-up Galio ult stolen by Zeka, who is in the thick of it behind enemy lines. And Tovi's actually the one that's in the most danger as the kick is gigantic. But nobody has gone down yet. Finally, Duro bites the dust. As the damage comes in, they take out the Smolder. But now the Silas just loves these scrappy fights as the light will not go down the flash through, and finally Ruler gets him. But it's still a win in the fight going to HLE.
That is Challengers, baby! Let's go!
We got it one more time! In this fight, though, the setup is very strong for Hanwha Life Esports, and even though the execution of it from Zeka isn't the cleanest, he's still able to follow Chovi's Galio and get into the back line. Tries to focus down Duro, but he buys so much space for Viper.
Flash.
And Delight's looking for it.
Flash on in, and Viper is, yeah, the stun comes down, and I think Chovy will be okay. Gets the level up, but eventually you just auto-attack him to death. Not seeing the Braum TP for some reason. Chovy gets baited and dies.
Viper is at 71 stacks, and fights like this for Smolder are incredibly powerful if you have the right setup, and you're not playing against the traditional AD carry, right? Ziggs can do a decent amount here, but Viper has so much setup, there's so much frontline here. Look at this ult from Zeka. Gets on top of Duro as well, and so much resources have to be committed to Zeka that Viper's just tossing out rotations of spells here, doing an insane amount of damage. Smolder's a scaling pick, right, but does a decent amount in these skirmishes, and even though he's killed here, even though he goes down, he gets so many stacks, does so much damage. The fight is won for Hanwha Life. Ruler also having to commit his flash here is another win for Hanwha. This is looking really good for us not having a 3-0 here, at least in the outset of this one.
And then this is one that I think is fairly straightforward. Just a nice TP from Delight, kind of making up for his early mistake, gets his AD carry a kill. Want to highlight in that previous fight as well that Ziggs is a lot more rotation-based. Early on, I think even though Smolder isn't that strong either, at least Smolder gets to auto. And the Jarvan value was actually crazy, which allowed Hanwha Life to kind of slow down the fight. Viper didn't end up going down, and these constant flag and drags in these early skirmishes are really annoying to deal with.
For me, it was the Silas as well. I mean, he was totally unchecked. He had basically no items, right? He's got cooldown boots and a catalyst now. I don't even know what he had in the last fight. Maybe just like some crystals and a dark seal. And yet he was never in any danger of dying. They just don't have enough consistent damage to ever take him down. As now, maybe they have enough as the kick is good onto 2. They're trying to burst down Peanut, and they will be able to do so. That's a shutdown here for the Ziggs. We got TP coming in as King Sante maybe a bit in trouble, but he's just going in. As now this TP, they're trying to actually punish him for it.
He's in trouble.
As Keen is still going in, still eventually will be taken out by the Smolder as Ingo Zeus 1v3. Just trying to taxi his way out. The big bomb, and Delight is going to block the damage. Gets away from that one as Chovy just solo in the top lane.
Yeah, it's a Chovy moment, but there's nothing he could have done. He doesn't have teleport, not an ult range, and we'll be able to get some plate gold here in his pockets, but it's another fight for Viper where he gets a kill, he does insane damage, takes out the Keen Sante, but he's stacking out of control, and this is another part of this Viper, or rather Smolder, piloted by Viper here, composition. If you keep scrapping early into this melee comp here for Gen.G, you're just stacking on stacking on stacking, and Viper, like I said, he's one of the fastest Smolders, if not the fastest, but in this game, he might break a record with the skirmishes they're giving him.
And if Keen hits that W onto Viper, that might actually have been enough, because there was still the ultimate available from the Ziggs. Instead, Delight kites it out nicely. Viper is fine, as this time Ruler can't get in position to flash. Drake will go over, and because Chovy got a giant shove in, I don't think it'll be too impactful when it comes to gold. But this is exactly the type of early game you'd want to see if you have Mbessa, if you have Jarvan, any of you have the Silence. And as you've been highlighting as well, Wolf, if there is a lot of scrapping and Smolder, even if he ends up dying, as long as he stays alive, which he's been able to do in most of these, you're chilling. You're just scaling into that win condition.
Yeah, the gold lead is Rulers, but how much does that really mean in terms of... Zeus?
He's very behind enemy lines. Duro still has his ult and heal. We got a Ziggs coming up here, a 4-1 Ziggs, and they can keep him around basically forever. Zeus has nowhere to go. He's trying to dash his way to victory. That's not the best satchel, and eventually he just flashes out. So they get the flash out of Zeus. They have to bring 3 people up to get it, and Viper, he's just stacking up in mid essentially for free.
He's so close to hitting that first real break point of 125. You know, the first one obviously at 25, but when you hit 125, you just start stacking out of control. You're stacking off champions anytime you queue anywhere near anybody, and it just becomes so easy from there. And that's why even though Ruler has 4 kills here and has that 700 gold lead, it feels like the position here in terms of AD carry value is so much higher for Hanwha Life Esports right now. You can see even Zeka's, because he can steal the Alistar, he can TP deep like he did in that skirmish around Dragon just moments before. There's just so many different win cons here for Hanwha Life in these early fights that Smolder doesn't need to scale to have an impact, but guess what? He still scales!
Yeah, I will give credit at least to the Ziggs, just up against essentially full melee plus the Smolder. They have the Mbessa for Engage, but besides that, you've got like Engage, Silas, and Braum kind of. We got another follow-up here in the top lane, but Zeus just turning it 1v2.
And I'm glad you highlighted Veldas, because the one thing I am worried about is that all engage from Hanwha is purely hard commit, right? I think they have really great ways to start fights. You have Jarvan, Mbessa, and Silas, but they all do involve you actually hard committing to the fight. Ziggs, as fed as he is, might not be able to chew through tanks as quickly as Viper is going to chew through K'Sante and through Chovy. But I do think it's important to note that the range advantage, funnily enough, in this game, I think is still going to be in favor of Gen.G, whereas Viper later in the game is only going to be able to play off of his RFC procs, right? When you have the extra range, the bombs are going to be basically consistent. The big saving grace for Hanwha is that if you do kill Ruler, this comp does actually just immediately fall apart, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a one-threat composition. They cut the 2-threat in half.
Oh, hey, Keen Sante is there, which is fine for like the first 2 items.
Chovy's building damage, okay, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Well, he kind of has to in this comp, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Doing more AP damage
It's
alongside of this.
Guys, there's a Sundered Sky. That's enough 80 damage, right? Yeah. Guys?
Yeah, for sure, Chronicle.
You don't lie to me just because I lost.
Yeah,
don't
definitely.
do that. No.
Anything you say goes today.
Call me out.
Sure, Chronicler, yeah. Well, anything he goes, yeah.
This is the worst. This is the worst. Ruler!
Ruler in the Ruler spot. He has a TP, or a turret rather, but it doesn't matter. He's just gonna die.
Even if there's a turret there, it's still the Ruler spot. And this game is very quickly.
This Ziggs is supposed to be unkillable.
Well,
he's dead, though.
He is dead. Supposed to be unkillable.
So what are you talking about, Veldas?
Supposed to be. Supposed to be.
But he's dead.
He was dead a second time, yeah.
Yeah, and
TP is available, though.
Maybe he goes in and tries to seal the kick away and eventually doesn't get onto the eye. So it's just an easy one for Peanut. And, you know, Cannon doesn't really use anything to get that done as he is Lee Sin. Just the flash out of Delight, I suppose.
All right, well, you know, there's control vision in the brush. Ruler's just trying to clear this ward. It's that simple. Viper picks up the kill, by the way, and some additional stacks for his troubles. And this Smolder is sitting at 160 at 16 minutes into the game. And he's just continuing to stack. They keep trying to kill this Ambessa. It's not working.
Yeah, the Sonic Wave not going to land, but the
on his
Legion
way.
does get in. As do they have enough damage to take out Zeus? This double TP coming down from HLE. Keen just flashing away as Keen and Canyon realizing they're in a lot of trouble trying to get out here with this Cassante. As Zeka with the chains gets under
Viper's
the turret,
low.
but they don't have the damage
Viper's
to take
low.
out Keen. As the ult, still not enough. Another redemption, gonna get Keen down. The turret, a 6 bomb, and Cassante is just so dumb. He's still alive. How is he? Okay, finally the Flash 2 comes in, and Viper takes him out. As Duro makes his way up, but look at the health bars now. And now really the Ziggs is unkillable. Nobody can get onto him as Peanut is desperate to do so. As Duro trying to frontline, and maybe they just have enough people to push him away from the fight. As the damage is there, the damage is done. The Rift Herald also thrown down in the top lane.
I guess with the Keen Sante that's so unkillable, maybe the real AD carry all along was the top turret trying his best to get the damage done. Ruler tries to show up and make an impact there in the end, but it's too little, too late, and despite Keen's best efforts, it's still a successful play here after Zeus does go down.
I don't want to repeat myself, but that did feel like a very Challenger-esque sequence as, oh my god, it starts off with the kill onto Zeus, then the extension comes through, and Viper obviously really wants this kill, and they remember up. Watch this, Canyon actually tries to redirect Zeka, not able to, but Keen still doesn't go down, dodges enough damage, then gets redemptions, and this is where I thought they were in serious trouble. Viper ends up flashing for the kill with the Q, but it's Canyon actually getting interrupted in just a moment here, because I think that Gen.G thought that they could turn the fight here. Even though Ruler is able to get a lot of damage down, right there, the ultimate from Delight, plus the knockup from Peanut means that there is no Sundered Skying for you, Canyon. He goes down, and Hanwha Live building a bigger lead.
Yeah, this is just getting bigger and bigger. The snowball as well, and truly running down the hill here. And Gen.G, one last fight, one last opportunity on this Dragon.
I mean, Canyon's right here looking for the steal, but Peanut has been so good on his smites. Let's see what it comes down to. Just gonna be kind of a flip as Ingo's the least in down to 35, and it goes to Peanut anyway. As he's been so good on the smites. And the follow-up here, the bomb is big, but these guys live basically forever. And accessing the backline, Ruler in a lot of trouble. They're trying to peel for him. But now your front line is just gone as well. Ruler, no escape for him. Does go down even after the satchel used defensively. As this one threat comp not necessarily working out for them. Duro in a lot of trouble here as well. They give that kill over to Viper, and HLE are running away with the game.
5,200 damage in the fight. He doesn't even have 225. He's got a lot of kills. He's sitting on rapid fire cannon, but there's just too much front line. The one threat for Gen.G is really struggling to get consistent damage done here because he's spell-based, right? He's skill-based, skill shots tossing through, not always hitting the prio targets, trying to break through that front line, but it's an easy front to back here for the side of Hanwha Life. The timing of the smite, little bit early, just slightly here for the side of Canyon, but it doesn't change the end result of the fight. Even if he gets that smite, Gen.G would just get cleared here, and Viper is untouched.
And this comp might be too Gen.G, even for Gen.G, as the damage seems to be lacking. The comfort for Hanwha Life comes through, and it's the split nature of the calls from Gen.G. Chovy going in aggressively, whereas the rest of the team is trying to turn into Zeus, who ends up really stalling for so long. And one has got to imagine that the dreadful fate of a 3-0, at least for now, seems to be slowly pushed back, as Hanwha Life, I'm sure, are going to be looking... never mind. I guess Gen.G are going to be looking for Otacon?
Viper just is about to hit his threshold as he TPs in 225 on the dot.
Yeah, I mean, he's got it, and Gen.G, they say, well, might as well throw in a risk. A big one, that is, as Zeus doing a bunch of poke damage, but only enough on this Ambessa. And so is Viper. The redemption can only do so much. They're trying to get that engaged, and the access to the backline is there once again. Zeus gets it. Canyon just trying to zone them away. And it was so desperate from Gen.G. Eventually, Ruler will just be run down here. as the one threat is gone. And King Sante maybe takes out Zeus, but it's not looking good in that aspect either. Finally does, but he's the only one to get a kill, as Viper has so much room, and Chovy runs tail between his legs, and Hanwha Life should be able to pick up this objective.
It's only 21 minutes into the game. Baron hasn't spawned yet, but it's nearly the full wipe here for Gen.G. Hanwha Life will be able to take the Otacon that Gen.G so desperately tried to take moments before and further their lead. And I think this looks to be the most one-sided game in this series thus far.
Speaks volumes to the fact that Gen.G are starting this Otacon, right? This is a pure desperation play, knowing that they're not going to be able to win the game, but the Hanwha Life response is great. The teleports are available, everyone is ready. Canyon tries to give his life to ensure that it's a man-up fight with Viper not there, but at this point, they don't even need Viper. There's a fed Silas, a fed Jarvan, and an Mbessa wreaking havoc in their backline. And the win streak for Chovy on this Galio sure to end. The Keen Sante, not enough. And this series, let's not forget, I'm going to keep repeating it, Hanwha Life was in the exact position where Gen.G was during road to MSI.
Yeah, and that was the win for Gen.G that made it to Hanwha thus far until potentially this series has not beaten them for the rest of the year. Could be another similar turning point here. Remember, this draft is relatively expensive for Gen.G as well. They lose Canyon's Lee Sin, which is kind of a tech pick that you could see later on in the series, but the Galio, the Keen Sante, these stable picks, Duro, losing the Alistair, and even that counter pick for Viper Xayah in the Ziggs is now no longer an option here. I think this draft for Gen.G was a big gamble, and let's face it simply did not pay off.
It did not pay off at all, and a lot of scraps go in the way of HLE. They've been able to fight all of the fights on their terms, force fights where Gen.G have to come into them, Canyon looking for steals, and you just leave your back door wide open, essentially. It has not worked out for them at all. And HLE, it's very nice to see them showing some signs of life in this series, because this could have easily been a done deal and kind of a disappointing 3-0. So we're happy here on the caster desk.
So it could be worse for Gen.G because they do have wave clear in Ziggs, you know, and it can be basically in 2 lanes at the same time. Now, I don't think that they can fight for Drake, so they are going to be down Infernal Soul Point. They also shouldn't be able to contest for Baron, and at that point, it does kind of become a problem.
So where's the good news, Cronny, for Gen.G here?
I mean, I wouldn't call it good news necessarily. You know, I think that if they didn't have Ziggs and this was something else, then it'd be a little harder to clear waves. They're going to contest. Anyway, by the way, 2-item spike have been hit for Ruler.
Oh, the ult on in. Zeus wants the 1v1 as taunt comes down, and Zeus sits him down once again and picks up the solo kill. You are not fighting over this dragon now.
I mean, he can.
You weren't fighting over it before.
He could TP down as well. It's going to force a TP out of Keen to the top side. There's just no way, no chance to contest this dragon anymore. And this draft really didn't give Gen.G a whole lot of win cons, especially face up into the Silas pick. The Alistair, the Galio, and Hanwha Life are just running away with this game. And, I mean, with this dragon now, it's Soul Point, but it's so many additional stats from the individual Drakes alone. Forget the Soul on this already extremely fed Silas.
Yeah, upon further consideration, I find it hard to see if it could be really worse. As Chovy starts against the Galio, or as Galio into an AD matchup, that's always a tough time. Also isn't really that tanky. Zeus, really nice recognition there of his timing window. Keen is supposed to be tanky. I don't really think that's how it's going to play out. Zeka having the best game that we've seen him have this series so far. And it's all looking good for a continued journey.
I am
with
really
the LCKer today.
Yeah, I'm really curious, Chronicler, what we're going to see from Keen going forward in this series, because he's played 2 of his most iconic tank picks so far, and then also the Gwen that we know is so incredibly strong. It's been one of his best picks this year, even from behind, and Pool's going to get a little bit more interesting, because the desk was talking about it in the pre-show about how he's such a multifaceted player. He can play more aggressive picks and the tank picks so dual. He has the duality of both, right? He's not really a weak side player or a strong side player per se. But against Zeus here, already thinned out, it feels like some of your options are a little bit limited. Not to say that this win for Hanwha means that Gen.G is out by any means, but I do think that with this momentum shift here and this expensive draft for Gen.G, the series got a little bit more interesting than just okay, at least we got to 4.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to top lane picks that are still very high tier that are left, you've got stuff like Renekton, you've got Ornn, Aatrox, we've seen a lot, Yorick. Those seem like kind of the top 4 for us at this point in time, so probably going to see, again, maybe a ban on Renekton, but we'll see if Hanwha Life Esports, if they go over to the red side, are they going to ban away the Renekton from red side? Definitely a lot of play at the top lane, so it's certainly a good point. This game isn't over, but it's kind of over. Like the Nexus hasn't exploded.
We can call it.
Yes.
It hasn't exploded, but HLE, as long as they don't make any grave mistakes.
All right, let's plot it out. What needs to happen? So obviously starts with Baron Steel. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, it is Ziggs, so maybe. Ziggs Lee Sin, pretty good at stealing.
Viper gets kicked into Gen.G, while Zeka is on the other end of the map without teleport.
All right, let's make this more interesting.
I think it's hard enough as is.
Duro. Okay, what I was going to say is, let's just say, if Gen.G win this game, Chronicle will shave his head for his next LCK cast.
Hey!
Just like Max, you know?
Yeah.
For good times. You accept Chronicle?
So many things. Yeah. Wow.
Lock it in.
Well, there's no vision here on this Baron, and somebody's got to check. Eventually, we see the Alistar ult is stolen, and they just turn onto the jungler, and Canyon is down. And just like that, they don't even need the Baron. Just get the kills and push on in, and now, with those 2 kills, they will be able to take down this Baron easily enough. And they play it excellently. They don't make any mistakes.
And we had such a good plan. And they fail at step 1. Obviously, Hanwha Life was very aware of this fact. So really clean setup here. They have full vision control. They don't need to flip the objective whatsoever. And they don't. Keep control of where Canyon is. Target him down. And this series will continue, gentlemen.
It definitely will. The game is certainly over from here as Ruler, no escape for you, as Peanut's got his eye on you, as the flash comes out, and you are taken down. Ruler, no hope for him. No more wave clear left here on the side of Gen.G. No more hopes, as Hanwha Life Esports will be forcing a game number 4 in these grand finals.
Hanwha Life putting Viper on the Smolder. An expensive pick for them too, one they have really mastered, but it is well worth it in this one.
Yeah, at least you take it away from Chovy, I suppose, as you got Zeka in the pool, but you know who's not in the pool? It's Viper, as he's just gonna be burning everybody down. He says, hold on a minute, let me get these kills, as the little Elder Drake that could. As they take down the Nexus turrets, they will take down the Nexus, and we have finally got a series on our hands here. At the finals, Hanwha Life Esports finally end up showing up.
A close game 1, an even closer game 2.